Good evening. Again, my name is Daniel Call. I really hate to do this to you all again, but I feel like I have to relay another message from the people living in Japan, both Japanese people and international people. We're getting kind of riled up about the negativity of news reporting amongst the international media. They purposefully select the negative over anything positive that's going on over here. For example, in the last few days, there have been several news reports. Anybody can pick up a newspaper and read this stuff and translate it into English or other languages, that all of the prefectures around Fukushima Prefecture, where the nuclear power plant, they've had all the bans on their agricultural produce lifted. They haven't detected any cesium-134 or 137 or any iodine-131 for several weeks. Okay, and so according to the government's very strict standards, they are now allowed to ship their produce. This is great news. Everybody's happy about that. The farmers are relieved. Even in Fukushima Prefecture, earlier today, there was an announcement that outside of the 30-kilometer evacuation zone, almost all produce has now been it has passed all the tests. There's no radiation in any of these things, and they can go ahead and ship. Everybody is elated. But does the international media choose to broadcast that kind of information? They do not. You know what they chose to broadcast today? A little bit south of Tokyo. One town in Kanagawa Prefecture detected some cesium in their tea leaves. So when you pick up your newspaper tomorrow morning, or when you turn on your TV so-called news program, you're going to hear all about irradiated tea leaves in Japan, and the announcers and the broadcasters are going to say, oh, well, Japan has fallen off a cliff. It's not the situation. Things are getting better. Of course, we do have a lot of problems still at the nuclear plant. Things are going up and down all the time. Have we got enough water inside the reactor containment vessel there, or don't we have enough water? Things are still up in the air. It's going up and down, but we haven't had major radiation problems in Japan since about almost 2 months ago, okay? Don't let the talking heads fool you. They're talking about something that happened 2 months ago. Things are getting a lot better, but unfortunately, because all they talk about is the radiation stuff, everybody's attention is diverted away from the real problem, which is up north. I've been up there 7 times carrying food, raw vegetables, fruit, things for people up there so that they can have a more balanced diet. Things are still pretty bad up there, but they're improving. Things are getting better. But, I just want you to keep it in perspective. When they talk about irradiation or the evacuation areas around the nuclear power plant, keep this in mind. The entire evacuation area around the, the nuclear power plant, Fukushima #1 nuclear power plant, the entire landmass of that area comes to a grand total of just over 1/3 of 1% of the entire landmass of Japan. Now think about that. That's really a very small area, and this is the area that is affected, okay? Now how affected is it? Today on the news, if you were watching Japanese news, you would have heard that the villagers in the affected area, up to about 2 kilometers from the nuclear power plant, were today allowed to go back to their homes and to pick up some of their personal belongings. They weren't allowed to stay very long. They only were able to stay in there for like 2 hours or something like that. But they were able to go back that close to the nuclear power plant, pick up their stuff. They came back out, and of course they were tested for radiation, and not one single person showed any traces of radiation. That's how safe it is right there. They just don't want them to be there for very long. So this is the situation in Japan. Don't let those pseudo-experts on your TV channels fake you out. Even the respectable journals and the respectable, so-called respectable TV stations are dropping the ball on the whole situation. Remember, if you're going to pray for Japan, pray for northern Japan. That's where the problem is, okay? So keep us in our thoughts, keep us in your prayers, and continue to encourage us. Thank you.